to another vlog. I'm Ant.
And I'm Neil.
And we're at Calke Abbey. It's known as the unstately home.
Why is it known as the unstately home, Ant?
Because it's been kept as it was when the National Trust inherited it. So they've not done it up or anything, just made it safe and sound, really.
Yeah, so come along for the adventure with us. I think this is one you'll really enjoy. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Calke Abbey in Derbyshire. Today we're going to take you on a tour of this magnificent old house. It was originally part of Repton Priory, but it was purchased by Sir Henry Harpur in 1622 for the magnificent sum of £5,250. You couldn't even buy a garden shed for that today. The house did fall into disrepair and it was taken over by the National Trust in 1981. The last Harpur to live here was Henry Harpur Crewe, and prior to being taken over by the National Trust, he was crippled with debts, paying tax of £1,200 a day. So yeah, I think he was probably pretty glad that the National Trust took it over. So come along on this adventure and enjoy the visit with us.
Okay? Enjoy. All my sisters, you can't get lost. You can if you step over the ropes, mind. But please don't. This is how it was built.
So this is actually the little room that Sir Henry Harpur Crewe used to spend most of his time in. They've still got the table laid up for him. Imagine living in this great big crumbling house when there was nobody else here, and just spending your time with all this natural history for company.
So that she used this as an alternative, but she didn't want to leave, but she knew enough to keep. You're lucky because this is the first day this room has been open for a while because we had a problem.
So I'm just ascending this pretty magnificent staircase. The house is quite dark on a day like today, but it actually adds to the atmosphere. Yeah, again, you can only just imagine being the only person living in this in the last days before it passed to the National Trust. Certainly a very, very grand old house, even though it is perhaps not in the best condition compared to some that you see. Look at the ghostly figure ascending the staircase. It's actually Ant. I'm guessing this is the servant staircase. Slightly less grand and certainly a lot colder. We've got a grandfather clock there just to make sure they were never late on duty. But just look at these magnificent doors. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful carving and Corinthian columns. I think this actually takes us into one of the kitchens. Got the china cabinet there with the all the crockery and things they would have used on a daily basis. Very grand crockery there. So the next room, I believe, is the dining room, and this is the only room in the house that's actually been restored to its former glory. So I think this is pretty spectacular. Some beautiful old oil paintings in here and some great bits of furniture. It is actually quite dark, so I hope it's picking it up for you. Very atmospheric old house. Yeah, this is the breakfast room, as Ant's just pointed out.
Probably had their meals when they were entertaining.
So this house is quite famous for its collection of natural history, basically stuffed animals. I think the collection was started in the 1600s and there's certainly a lot of it. Magnificent ceiling in here as well. I believe in days gone by this used to be the main entrance hall, and there was actually a metal staircase from the front of the house that brought you up through a doorway just about there. So this is a very pretty room. Beautiful gold drapes. Again, it's quite dark, so I hope you can see things, but this place is absolutely full. Beautiful paintings and cushions and furniture. I'm guessing this would have been like a ladies' withdrawing room where they would have come after dinner. So we're just coming through into the library.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're not going to film me, are you?
No, I wouldn't be so rude.
But if you were, I'd have done my hair.
Not unless you want to tell us a little bit about the library.
What would you like to know?
Anything you can impart.
Okay. Well, in here there's about 4,000 books. It's a collection that they've got about 8,500. They manufacture books. The oldest book, which isn't actually in here at the moment, is about 1560s,
Wow.
and that was a prayer book. There's a lot of books on animals. They often went, because they were big collectors, they went and just bought job lots of books just to fill up the spaces. So it's quite an eclectic mix of books. Not many storybooks, you haven't got lots of Charles Dickens.
Oh,
There's
right.
a few Shakespeare's and bits and pieces.
As you can see, it really is faded elegance. Everything is literally just as it declined throughout the last century, and it's just how it was passed to the National Trust in 1981. Thanks to the lovely National Trust guy that just gave us that little talk in the library. That was really, really kind of him. So this room seems to house a bit of an overspill of all the natural history collection. I think, as I mentioned before, the first Sir Henry started collecting all this natural history stuff way back in the 1600s, so it really isn't our cup of tea at all, but it's a vast collection, and that's looking back into the rooms that we've just come from. Yeah, so I bet this place has got a tale or two to tell. There's certainly probably a few ghosts walk these staircases at night. It certainly feels like it. And we're ascending now to the top floor, which I guess would have been the servants' accommodation. So I'm guessing this was the height of modern bathing equipment back in the day. That's certainly quite a unique looking shower there. And I'm guessing it's a while since that mattress was slept on. What do you think, Ant? I don't think you would you?
I wouldn't mind the shower there. It's all right. Servants' quarters.
No, they're quite grand, aren't they, really? They've got a nice cove in. You can really see how much decay there was in this room. I mean, this place is absolutely vast. You kind of get a feeling for the size of it up here when you see just how big the stairwell is. I mean, our little house would probably fit just in this space alone. So we're actually on our way back down now. And again, I think this would have been a servant's staircase. It's very plain, just stone steps. It's actually quite a nice view out into the courtyard there. Yeah, Ant's just pointed out, got a big hoses here, which obviously were just in case there was ever a fire. So they're obviously very practical as well. Maybe one of the reasons the place actually survived.
Yes.
Yeah, again, loads more bells. Must have had lots of staff on call in those days. So it's very dark in here. This is actually a bed that they discovered in a box in absolutely perfect condition. So to been put away and never assembled, hence the reason it's in absolutely perfect condition. So this was a rare find. I think the National Trust actually discovered this. Lots of staircases in this place. Again, just thinking back to 1981 when Sir Henry was living here on his own. Just imagine being in here at night when you wouldn't have a clue what was going on anywhere because the place is so vast. Yeah, we're down now, I think, in the original. Yeah, it's definitely the servants' quarters, isn't it? Yeah. Just as if to prove the point. Again, it is very dark down here, so I hope you can see what's going on. So it looks like it might have been a butler's pantry. That would have been a box that they would have stored silverware in because it's lined with green baize. Yeah, I think it'd be very, very cool to do a ghost walk in here at night. So this is through into the servants' hall. And we're outside into the courtyard. So apparently this was probably the cloisters to the original monastery. I think it was probably dissolved by Henry VIII from what the lady was just saying. So this would have been the original courtyard where they would have taken exercise. So yeah, that's quite interesting. There is a tunnel that leads out into the gardens, but I'm a bit claustrophobic, so I think Ant's going to attempt that. Yeah, this is a step too far for me, so I think Ant's going to head out and do that, and I'm going to head back for the daylight.
tunnels underneath Calke Abbey.
So I've just come out of the house and it's been very brave and he's doing the tour through the tunnel, which hopefully will bring him back out in the garden as well, and we'll catch up with you guys and give you our thoughts on Calke Abbey.
So I've just walked through the tunnels underneath Calke Abbey, and they're quite dark and a bit scary, but there is a few windows there and there's plenty of light, so it's not that scary really. It takes you under the house and to the stables, so the stuff doesn't have to get wet if it's raining, so there you go.
So we're just taking a walk through into the gardens now. We have been here before, and they do have a most amazing dahlia border, hoping that it's still looking as good as it normally looks, because it's so impressive. Yes, we're going to get some nice pictures and clips for you guys in here. So here is the dahlia borders, and yeah, they're looking pretty stunning. We love dahlias ourselves, we grow them at home, but there's some amazing ones here. I mean, the colours are just out of this world. I'll just walk up here and let you take a good look at them. But yeah, pretty spectacular. I mean, just look at that. I want you to tell me what's going through your mind just at this moment in time.
So I love dahlias, but they've never seemed to be able to grow them in our garden. And these have got a lovely display of different dahlias. They're absolutely amazing, so I've got serious envy here.
So this is through into their walled garden, and this is where they would have grown the majority of their crops when the house was a functioning family home. And it's absolutely vast. The National Trust have got it set up at the moment, with it being the children's summer holidays. They've got things for children to do in here, little activities, which is really, really nice. The sun's just coming out now, and it's absolutely glorious. So there's an orangery style greenhouse up here. It's going to have a little wander in and see what we can see. But just look at the scale of this. Imagine how many people it would have taken just to maintain it and keep it going. It's probably no wonder that it fell into disrepair during the early part of the 20th century. They literally wouldn't have been able to keep up with the costs of running it. So this is the orangery. It's got a lovely dome on the top, which is all still intact, but I'm guessing the National Trust have probably restored that. Can't imagine it had stayed intact. So obviously in here they've got a few exotic plants, things that wouldn't survive outside. But just look at that lovely dome there. These people certainly knew how to live. I think Ant could quite get used to this lifestyle. I think he looks really at home. I'll just share a little interesting story with you. When I was in my early 20s, a very long time ago, we lived in a little village in Derbyshire, and an old guy used to drive past when I was gardening in a little black Peugeot convertible, and he'd very often stop and pass the time of day with me. And he told me that he lived in a big house in the country that was falling down and that he was trying to save it. And yeah, he very often stopped, and he told me his name was Henry. And on many occasions he asked me if I wanted to come to the house and have a look, but I was a shy 20-year-old, so I always declined. And it was only a few years later that I realised that Henry was actually Henry Harpur Crewe, and they got a summer house just up the road from us in Worslow near Hartington. So had I been a braver youth back in those days, I maybe could have had a wander around this house completely unhindered. So we're just outside of the stable yard, and this would have been just as impressive as the house in its heyday. It's pretty huge. It goes through into a second yard there, and through in here I believe are some carriages which are original to the house. I believe the National Trust found them when they were going through everything. That's a little governess cart there that they would have probably used just to pop into the nearest town. I mean, you never know what you're going to find in these places. There's always a surprise around every corner.
Not a horse, but...
So there is a really nice cafe here. It's just in the courtyard at the back, and there are toilets just on that side. You can get access to the gift shop from in there as well. But as you can see, it's really, really busied up now. I think most of the seating outside is already full. So yeah, we've had a really, really good visit to Calke Abbey in Derbyshire today.
So, I hope you've enjoyed going around Calke Abbey, the house and the gardens with us. It's been really interesting, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's definitely one of our favourite places.
Full of history and perhaps a few ghosts, maybe.
I'm pretty sure there's a few ghosts. You can definitely feel a few things as you're walking up and down the staircases.
Yes, it's different to normal country houses, with it being a state of disrepair, really.
Yeah, I think the National Trust
That's
has done the
quite
right thing,
interesting.
haven't they, keeping it
It's
like
different,
that.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. It's unusual.
One of the National Trust people was saying that when it was handed over, that Sir Henry hoped that they'd actually restore the house to its former glory, but they decided to keep it just as it was, and I think they did the right thing.
Yeah, there's a few of the rooms that have been done up there, haven't they?
I think the dining room's the main one, and then they've actually made some of the others just structurally sound and put the furniture in a position that it would have been back in the day.
And the gardens here are stunning, aren't they?
Yeah, the gardens are amazing, particularly the dahlia beds and some of the greenhouses. So, yeah, I hope you've really enjoyed coming around here with us today.
If you enjoyed the video, please like it, press the like button.
Yeah, and even more important for us, because it helps the channel, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's free to do so it doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah, so thanks for spending some time with us today, guys, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.